It's sort of like, how to choose the right therapist. And I'm going to switch it around a little bit today. I'm going to talk to you about when I wake up in the morning and I think about who am I seeing today? If my memory serves me right, who am I seeing today? And I think about my clients. I'll be completely honest with you and let you know that there's some clients that I really look forward to seeing, and there's other clients that I don't. But I'm still willing to help them. But let's just say I'm not excited about jumping out of bed and seeing some clients. So actually, I took some notes and I just thought about one other thing. Okay. So when I think about it, it's a little bit like any other relationship, right? Because in thinking of who I want to jump out of bed and see that day, it's a person who's, let's be honest, very, very aligned to who you are. Someone that you see commonalities in. And the two most important things that I think I want to see in a client is, the first one's not that surprising. The first one is commitment. The two clients that I had over the course of the last couple of days that I look forward to seeing are two clients that have signed up for package sessions. I have the option to come, for you to come in individually, or I have the option for you to sign up for a package. Package sessions are cheaper. I want them to be affordable, but it's more of you are stating to me that you are committed. You want to change something in your life, and you're committed for, a certain period of time. And, whether it's weekly or every 3 weeks or whatever it is, but you are committed to show up and do what you need to do. And I am so admirable, about that. Like, I love that. You're looking forward, you have a vision of what you want, and hell or high water, you're going to get it. So that's one thing right away. Another thing is humor. Like, I have a couple of clients that, like, I am laughing out loud, when I'm working with them, because, like, we both have the same type of humor, and there's so many other, like, similarity. Like, another thing is, being able to laugh at yourself. Are you someone that is able to laugh at yourself? I laugh at myself constantly, and these people also laugh at themselves. Like, my ideal client is not worried about making a mistake. They're willing to talk about their mistakes. They also bring an agenda to the session too. They come, after having done some self-reflection. Maybe it's just on the car ride to the office, or maybe it's in the journal notes that they took throughout the week, or whatever it is. But they've done some reflection, and they're like, okay, this is still something that's, I'm having trouble with, or I want Luella's perspective or opinion or on whatever. But in other words, they've done the work between the sessions. That's super important to me, because if you're just going to show up and just, like, fix me, like, I don't know, or just sort of clueless about what you're going to talk about today, like, what's the point of you actually coming for a session, right? So I love people that have done a lot of self-reflection and, identified certain behaviors that they're not that crazy about, or maybe behaviors that other people have commented to them about, that they're unaware of. Because let's face it, if we had a camera on us 24/7, as if we were watching a reality show, I think we'd all be a little embarrassed about our behaviors. I mean, like, because you know what? You think you're acting a certain way or showing up a certain way, but you're probably a little bit delusional if you think like you're the best thing since sliced bread, because chances are you're not. So it's great to have people to once in a while, like, make comments, like, I mean, constructive criticism, right? Not demeaning or contemptuous. Like, we don't want that, but in a compassionate sort of way, or asking people, you know what, like, I'm working on this certain trait, I'm working on this certain behavior. Are you willing to give me some feedback? I mean, that shows a lot of self-growth, right? But it depends on the context. I mean, you don't do that after an argument with somebody, like, disagreement. You have to be both on a really good, chill, like everything's good between us sort of relationship. So vulnerability is also super important, right? Like, a person has to expose their weaknesses. They can't come to me thinking that, heaven forbid Luella thinks of me this way, or that I'm, I mean, you're seeing me for a reason. So let's be honest and open. And even myself, like, I do like to share my personal experiences, my personal life, my personal challenges myself, just because I want my clients to know that I'm a human being. I struggle. Life is full of struggles, and maybe this is something that I've tried to do and has worked for me, or this is something that, despite years and years of trying to kind of get a hold of, I'm still challenged with it. Now, I don't take up the entire session talking about myself, but there's little, pockets of times during the session where I think it's appropriate to share this. I know clients usually appreciate that because it gives them a bit of a reality check in terms, it gets them out of the woe is me, my life sucks sort of mindset, which does not work with me. Yeah, that's something I'll speak about a little bit later too. But yeah, I mean, I've had clients come to me stating that, oh my gosh, my past counselor, my past therapist, they just wanted to talk about themselves the whole time. I mean, I can understand that that's a complete turnoff, right? So it's not something you want. But anyway, moving onward, if I were to say, like, what gets me out of bed in the morning wanting to see my client, well, yeah, I guess, just the responsibility thing. I will mention, if I'm going to be completely honest, that I do love online. I love online. I love phone calls. And you know why? Like, I just find it, first of all, I don't see, like, I know how some people say, I want the face-to-face. I don't know. I mean, I understand after COVID, like bouncing back into society after COVID. I get it. I mean, it's nice to have that, actual human in front of you, or to get out of your house and actually see somebody. But now, I mean, I'm all about convenience. And so when I hire a therapist, like some have said to me, no, I would prefer you come to the office. And I'm like, okay, this is not going to work then. I don't want to go I don't want to go to your office. I want to do a Zoom. I want to do a phone call. I love that. I love the ability to not be, like stuck in an office, sort of like sitting across from you. I can be on the phone, walking around my office. I feel like I'm more zoned in when I'm staring at something like a book, or I don't know. I'm much more focused that way rather than, I don't know, sitting across from somebody. I don't know why, but maybe I'm also someone who's really big on movement. So if I can like stand at my desk and have a Zoom call with you, or fidget or whatever it is like I need to do, I am, on borderline ADHD. So I think movement is really important for me in order to focus. So I'll just say that. And I guess one other thing that, this might come off wrong, but if my client's sitting across from me and complaining and whining about their current situation, I'm all about empathy and compassion, and that is me. But if you come weekly and do that, it's probably not going to go very well between us either, just because I zone out. Like, I honestly zone out, because life is full of struggle, and no one has grown up in the perfect family situation. Like, no one, there's a lot to be said about small traumas in life. Like, I even had a client yesterday talk to me about, I don't know how old her son is, 8, 9 years old, and how there was an incident in school and she had to be, anyway, like, he made a comment to the rest of the classroom, and it all had to do with not being able to take loss well. What happened in the school is that their classroom lost a competition against another classroom, and after being spoken to, the child was talking about how he's lonely, he's the only child, my cousins don't live around me, blah blah blah, and how he's stressed, and the mother, who is somebody who I love seeing every single week, or whenever she comes in, because she's committed, she's like, what is going on? My 8-year-old is complaining about and whining about, like, okay, he's the only child in the family, and she says, I get it, but look at everything else I'm giving to him, sort of thing. So it's sort of like we're teaching our kids to feel the feelings, which is great, of course. The amount of emotional intelligence my kids have at their age right now compared to what I had is incomparable. Like, I'm shocked in some ways. But I think we've also carried it a little bit too far, how, we need to sit with our feelings, bathe in our feelings, marinate in our feelings. And the amount of time I think that's taken up in the schools with kids talking about their feelings, I don't know. I think it's being taken a little bit too far. I know my client, when I was speaking with her yesterday, she wanted to say to her kid, like, I mean, she spent an entire hour with him after school talking about his feelings, and she wanted to kind of just say, look, like, suck it up. I mean, there's a lot of other great things that you have, and we will work towards, building more friends in the community, for example, having more play events, after school, and maybe joining more like sports team or community functions or whatever. But like, I don't know. It's just like the whole, like, she's totally on the same, she's in alignment with me on that one too. It's sort of like we've all not had ideal childhoods. There's been certain things that we are extremely grateful for in our childhood, but other things that we did not have. But we can't focus on the things we don't have. We have to focus on all the things that we did have, that we do have. And, this mother too is a single mom. She can't, there's only so much she can do. And it would be great for the child to focus on all the things that his mother has been able to provide for him. Having another child is not an option, in his house right now. But there's other ways of mitigating this. So back to, like, what is my ideal client? It's someone who is not wanting to marinate and stay stuck in their feelings, in their trauma. They're looking to me and saying, it's in the past. It wasn't the greatest part of my life. But I want to start thinking differently. I want to start behaving differently. This is a big one too. Luella, what are the lifestyle practices that are going to get me out of this rut? And I'm all like, you can, think of me as a lifestyle psychotherapist. You hear of lifestyle medicine. Lifestyle medicine is, what are all the other things that we're doing besides this one discipline that you and I are doing right now, which is talk therapy? What are all the other things that I could be doing in order to, manage my emotional health? What are the other things to bring up my emotional intelligence? My EQ. Well, or EI, I should say. It's sorry, I have to say, like, you are what you eat. So if you're digesting a bunch of processed food and coming to me wanting me to, wave my magic wand and bring up your emotional intelligence, it's not going to happen very easily. Or to even make you more self-aware. I mean, the whole idea, like, when we talk about self-awareness, I mean, just break it down to mindful eating, like chewing your food, to a point where it's a paste and then swallowing it, not gulping things down and just thinking, I'm hungry, and being on a sugar roller coaster and all that kind of stuff. Like, you're going to get the most bang from your buck if you start, like in terms of coming to see me, start doing these other things that are so important and incorporating more movement in your life. I mean, don't go to all the excuses of why you can't do this sort of thing. That's the complaining sort of thing. I mean, they can be reasons, of like time, lack of time, are reasons why you haven't done it so far. But now that we're aware of this, what are some little changes you can make in your life? Step by step. These little changes make a big difference in your return on investment here. So that's what I'm all about. That's the type of client that I really want to work with, is someone who sees the importance of managing their stress and saying no to everybody that wants a piece of them. Practicing a lot of self-love, self-compassion, self-care, but yeah, stress reduction, management of that. Also, like, sleep is a huge thing, so in other words, if someone just wants to come to the session and think that, their 50-minute consultation, talking about how they feel is going to be, the ticket to finding peace and happiness in their life and getting rid of all the craziness. No, you got to start loving yourself by incorporating movement, incorporating primarily plant-based foods, and managing your sleep and managing your relationships. So that's it. That's my ideal client, someone who's willing to do the work in all those other areas. So I gotta run and see my client, but nice to be on here again, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.